Hey everybody. It's been a few days and I think I settled on a design for my mobile 800 watt hour 16 volt battery packs. I was thinking about doing kind of a DIY video showing how to make this, but it's so incredibly simple. I actually felt as if just simply explaining what I think I'm going to do would be more than adequate for anyone that wanted to build something similar. So here we are. We've got these Gen 1 Nissan Leaf cells. Each one of them is at a nominal 8 to 8.1 volts. And two of them together come up to be between 14 and 16.2 volt battery bank, which is a little high and a little off spec for 12 volt systems. However, this Victron hardware, such as this smart solar charge controller, and also this PureSign Phoenix inverter, these all have no problem accepting 16 volts. And so I would almost consider this to be a bit of an intermediate voltage system in between 12 volts and 24 volts. And the Victron hardware being capable of being flexible with the incoming voltages and outgoing charging voltages allow you to run a 12 volt system effectively between 14 and 16.2 volts. And so what this means is that you get a tiny bit of the benefit of a higher voltage system over 12 volts. And then you can use these Nissan Leaf cells, which I'm a huge fan of, for all kinds of strange systems. And so this is actually what I came up with. Check this out. Got a little carry handle here. And I'm using, right here, I'm using inexpensive 5/16 bolts, and then some bolt hardware. Okay. And then on the other side, as a washer, I'm using 3/4 inch EMT conduit straps as the washer to protect the casing as you tighten this, also as a foot. It also can be used, if you bend it, as a cable management. So you can loosen this and you can run cables through these things depending upon your needs. I've already ordered some flat bar so I can replace my super cheesy, I guess I call this a waffle strap. It's just simply this aluminum mesh sheeting that you can buy. I like to use it as a very temporary bus bar, even though it can handle pretty high amperage. I just think it looks ugly, so I'm going to replace it. And then you can make some pretty simple cables like this with these Anderson connectors. And so anyway, this is basically it. It's two of these cells sandwiched together using EMT conduit as a foot, and this can be in any orientation. And I'm leaving a little bit of stem so that I can still attach other things to this device. This is a simple garage door handle. These can be had for a couple dollars. You can usually get a 2 or 4 pack at hardware stores for very inexpensive. All I did was I tapped the edge of each one of these flanges on the other side of this handle, and then I used this as the primary washer to protect the housing. And now I have a very durable handle that's actually incorporated into the kind of substructure of the unit, so to speak. And so it's incredibly durable. You can carry this thing around and slam it around, and I'm very impressed. It's a very good handle. So the only thing left that I think I would like to see for this thing is some kind of a battery shroud. So I want to find something that either attaches here at these bolts or underneath these flanges, underneath this primary washer, and then it comes out and it will cover these terminals. Now the problem though is that I would just bend some aluminum and make like a simple aluminum channel to cover this up. However, I don't like the idea of it all being metal, especially in contact with dirty water or, in like a rough and tumble environment. And so I'm trying to find something that is non-conductive, that can be a simple cap for this. and either just a simple cap that just covers the terminals themselves, or kind of some larger apparatus that will cover that will cover the whole thing up and keep it, relatively rainproof. And the other improvements I'm going to try to make is either different feet configurations. As you can see, it stands off the ground, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to throw this thing down out, next to a stream if you're prospecting, or next to a campsite, and just throw it out and then wind up having something you couldn't see puncture into one of these aluminum casings. So that's why I decided having some kind of foot or standoff was a good idea. I was originally just going to use longer stems as the standoff, but I wanted something that wasn't going to damage whatever you're going to put it on. So, if you had this thing inside of a car and you could just slide this around on the carpet, it wouldn't hurt anything. Whereas if you used these bolts as standoffs, it would drag and it would just be it'd be crappy to use. So I'm pretty happy with this, and this is very modular. You can wind up daisy chaining multiple of these 16-volt banks together to come up with one bigger 12-volt bank. That's what I'm going to do with some of these other cells. And so it's going to allow you to have a pretty modular and flexible system. And yeah, so this is pretty simple. And I just hope that physically seeing what I was thinking about doing is helpful. And so I would love any comments. If anyone has any idea how I can properly protect these terminals, I would love to see it. And anything else you can think of that you think would be a fun addition would be fantastic. I'm thinking about marrying the portable version of these systems with this particular charge controller. It's pretty small. However, it's more than adequate for day charging for a simple bank like this. So it's going to be fun to see what happens. I will continue kind of video documenting this process as this matures, and I would love any feedback. So take it easy.